That's not true. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Estate Uncensored. Marky Lemons is back with us. We are so excited because we are talking about how to go from social media to sign contracts. In other words, how to use Facebook and social media, like platforms like Instagram, to really spark conversations, take those into appointments, and then close deals off of them. So that whole process, we all want to, as agents, that's the goal. It's the only reason to use social media, really, is to get it translated into closed deals, and that's what we're going to talk about. And we're also going to talk about her new membership and how to go go out there and make six-figure incomes in real estate consistently and predictably, even if you're starting from zero right now. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover, as we always do. Gene, I think if he's rolling in at all, he might be rolling in with his hair non-existently on fire, maybe beard hair on fire or something, is the because he's the evil bald ninja. So I don't know what hair is going to be on fire other than his beard. But he might be rolling in. Otherwise, it is the Junior Grand Master, myself, and Marky and Greg. You're in the co-pilot seat, far away from me, where you belong. Because based on the pre-show, I would have already murdered you many times over.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah. Well, I'm dead in your mind, but to the rest of the world, I'm here living and thriving and growing and bringing value to people.
If only I knew somebody with a reputation that was literally called a ninja and was evil. Why can't I hire Gene to just take you out, or at least come into your house and just punch you in the groin sometimes?
Oh, that happens all the time. I have a girlfriend.
Okay. All right, so she's doing it. She's doing it for me. All right, good. That's
right in the taint. Funny story. Since she's in the medical field, funny story is, you guys probably all know who follows me on Instagram and Facebook. We have a new dog, right? And I had a very interesting experience the other day. I was picking up his leftovers, aka poop, and I got it on my hand. So now I have gloves. Yes, this is a medical grade glove, and I'll tell you, anyone with a dog, Matt, that you should absolutely get one of those. It's an absolute lifesaver. But we're not going to talk about Matt's social life. We're going to talk about Marky. Kind of what she's up to. So Marky, how are you, my friend?
I'm just trying to figure out, are we going from shit to shine to shit? But it's a great day.
It's a cycle.
In the world of real estate.
It's a cycle. I mean, let's be honest. Well, I'm sure we'll get back there. Yes. Oh man. So first of all, look, people have seen some, your other episodes on the show and stuff, but let's just briefly get them caught up if they haven't caught one of those. So who are you? Where are you? What do you do? That sort of thing. Let's start there.
So what's going on this afternoon? I'm your girl, Marky Lemons Rao, real estate keynote speaker, 4-time international best-selling author, 8-time speaker at the Realtor Conference and Expo with high evaluations, all things real estate related.
Yeah, and host of the Social Selling Made Simple podcast. So we're going to talk about some of the themes that you talk about on the podcast there. We're going to get into all that fun stuff. But first of all, you're in Chicago. That's been one of the, it's got to be, you'd think, one of the hardest areas to do real estate in over the last year, or so. So what's it been like for you and the agents that are kind of in your circle, in your network there in Chicago?
Well, let me say this. Chicago was locked down. However, agents here are resilient, right? Chicago's a tough city to do business in. And when we look at what has happened in the midst of the pandemic, they've had the ability to be able to pivot. We're bringing in to our local realtor association about 300 new agents every single month. But wow. The issue is a national issue, and that is a lack of listed properties. I'm not going to say there's a lack of inventory, because if we look at predictive analytics tool, there's definitely inventory. But what amazes me, we as realtor members, we don't think outside of the box. We like to do the same thing, whether it works or not, time and time again. And I'm going to need my fellow realtors. We have to get creative when it comes to discovering inventory when you don't have listed properties.
Interesting. So when you say, and Greg, you can give some insight on this too. When you look at the predictive analytics, is there anything interesting that you're seeing that is surprising given what we've gone through in the last year? Or are you just saying just the normal same indicators of people kind of moving in and out of the area at the same rate? And so that there should be more inventory coming up.
Well, when I think about inventory, we definitely aren't seeing a lot of movement. Take me for instance. I'm not going to sell my house. And the reason is I purchased my house in 2010, right? I got my house for $200,000. My neighbors are all buying 700 to 800,000 in my neighborhood. My husband can't afford that price point. And we still have one more child to send to college. So we're not an option. We're not a viable option for selling in our neighborhood. So you see a lot of that, right? But when I think about looking at the predictive analytics tool, I would like for people to go back and look at 2010 to 2012. Everyone who attempted to sell their house at that time who was unsuccessful. So we know that house is not sold. Going back and explaining exactly how much equity they might have in their home, because they might not be like me. They might not have a child that they still need to put through college. They might not have bought at the price point in which I purchased, and they might not want to live here in this neighborhood anymore. When we start taking a look at migration maps, I think it's Redfin. Redfin has a really good one. I know that we have had a lot of people leave the Chicagoland area and relocate to an Indianapolis, relocate to a Columbus, Ohio, and go to Atlanta, one, because they can get more bang for their buck, right? So just taking a look at the migration, seeing where people are leaving, where they're going, and then going back and looking for those people who have attempted to sell their house at the bottom of the real estate market, knowing that they have equity and might have more money today. But this is what I was thinking about last night at dinner, right? Now would be the time for that person who's caught up in how they think their house look, the person who knows they don't have money to make any repairs, the person who essentially has a raggedy home, right? Today is the absolute best day for them to sell their house because they will get the most amount of money in the least amount of time, and it can be raggedy. So it's going to be subjected to less scrutiny.
Yeah. Well, Greg, this is good news for you.
Why is it good news?
Because I'm just picking on Greg's raggedy home. I mean, clearly, how can I not? How can I not insinuate Greg has a raggedy home? It's about time, Greg. I feel so bad for you up in there in the East Bay with your raggedy home overlooking your giant pool and all that stuff. Yeah, it's about time. I'm so glad you can escape that hellhole.
Yeah, me too. I mean, especially since I spend most of my time in Noe Valley, one of the most affluent neighborhoods in all of San Francisco. I mean, what a shithole I live in.
I know, it's terrible. I mean, it's a rough life you live.
Yeah. All right. My maid's going to be here in a minute, so can you wrap this up? Because we don't want the vacuum to disturb us. Okay?
That's right. Well, my personal chef is already on his way, so the timing will work out. Okay. So let's dive into the social media stuff a little bit. Sorry. Stupid. Oh my God. Okay. So let's talk about the sparking conversation. So I think one of the things that agents struggle with is this the kind of thing they should be talking about on social media? Most of the time not, but I think there might be some opportunities right now where, maybe 80% of your content is not real estate related, but of the 20% that is, these are interesting topics. Like, there's homeowners out there that may not even be thinking of selling because they have no idea what's going on. All they know is, the market's hot or some vague thing like that. So how would you, if you're going to talk about this in your local area and you were going after sellers, how would you present this on social media in a way that would actually spark some conversations and might get some people reaching out going, hey, I think I might be one of those people you're talking about?
So, Matt, I just want to make sure they understand 20% of the time, because what I tell people, I've spent very little money on advertising because 80% of the time I'm having an intimate conversation with social media. People do business with people who they know, like, and trust, and they believe are thought leaders. So for the thought leader aspect, I went back to an old tool about a month ago, and that would be google.com/trends, because I wanted to see, how people are searching and what's trending. And I realized contingent in real estate and pending in real estate are like up 300%. What that lets me, this is my interpretation of the data, is that buyers and sellers are coming to the internet trying to figure out what does pending mean, what does contingent mean, because we as real estate agents aren't doing a good job of explaining it. So today, if I wanted to attract more people to me, I'm going to talk the way that they search the internet, and I would definitely start talking about some of those terms that I know that my competition can't thoroughly explain, especially when it comes to inventory, because they're searching. They want to know, what does this mean? And so I would create video because I love to create me some video, right? But I would create video content answering their questions, having the difficult real estate discussion, not the cute, fuzzy nonsense that we always talk about, like, look at my numbers. Well, what do your numbers mean to the consumer who isn't searching for, hey, I want to know how much money did Marky earn last year, or how many houses did she sell? What I want to know is, can she explain this dang on contingent upon finance, right? Or contingent upon this, so that I have a clear understanding what this means in today's real estate market.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Something, Mark, I want to run past you really quickly. I mean, since I'm, like we talked about, I'm spending more of my time. And yes, Kyle Draper is here in the room. What up, Kyle?
What's up, Kyle?
What up, playa? Coach Kyle.
Can I say one thing? I don't know if Cal noticed, but I am using the word we. He told us to stop telling people you. And if you want to embrace them and bring them into the fold, you have to start saying we. So I'm elated that he came on at the moment that I was implementing the we.
I love it. And I completely agree. We've made like an effort of that, like even in the show notes that we write for podcast clients. Like when the host is in the same ballpark as everyone that they're speaking to, like they're all agents or they're all coaches in real estate space. Yeah, absolutely. Just call it out. Like you're all part of the same group. Just say we and not you always comes across as a little, I don't know, like you're coming down from on high with the correct strap, which I know is great for Greg. I mean, I know you look to me for all of your life advice. So I'll continue to treat Greg like that, but for everybody else, I'll say more inclusive we. But anyway,
and that saves my life every single day that I don't talk to Matt.
That's right.
But one of the things when it comes to social media and stuff like that, you kind of getting out there and talking about the community and everything else. Since we have a new puppers in the household now, and Greg, not Matt, because Matt wouldn't do this to his dog because he doesn't love his dog like I love my dog. But I take that damn dog on like at least 2 to 3 walks a day, and getting to know the local neighborhood dog parks, the people, networking in those areas. How would you leverage that in regards to social media and stuff like that? Because I think there's an opportunity here, and I'm going to float an idea after I get.
if his audio doesn't cut
let
out.
me tell you what I'm going to do. First of all, the dog needs a personality, right? So I'm leveraging the dog. Everything pertaining to the dog, I'm going to leverage it. So where do we get the best treats? Where's the best veterinarian? Where are those best parks? Better yet, what is the best time to go to the park? And so to me, to connect with all those other dog owners who 100% love their dog in the same manner that I love my dog, then I want to become that pet-friendly realtor in my community. I might even start breaking it down to, if I notice that everyone has, I don't know, a German Shepherd. I had a German Shepherd and a Dalmatian growing up. I would then bring in that dog type. Yep. Best friend in the world, right? Best friend in the world. And so I tell people, you have to find that one thing that you are willing to go deep on. A lot of people don't want to find that one thing. And it could be the dogs. If you talk about dogs, children, grandchildren, and I would say probably cooking after that, right now, it's all about plants and gardening. You could build an entire community around that subject matter. And I'm going to take you back in time. I think it was 2011. Dale Chumley, he's now a past state president. He did 365 things to do, the Clark County Guide. For 365 days, Dale talked about the community. Not once did he talk about real estate. And here's the thing, those blog posts are still up. Those videos are still up. And for some of the community businesses that he spoke of, Dale's blog post is still 10 years later, they're only online visibility.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
10 years later. Yeah.
I was going to say that's impressive for Dale and slightly discouraging for those businesses, but I get it. Yes. But it's totally, I can totally see that being the case. Yeah. Okay. So I love those ideas, Greg. I assume you'll be going and broadcasting live from the dog park and showing people the correct procedure for demonstrating your latex gloves, your two-pronged approach to cleaning up after your dog. So I look forward to seeing that Facebook Live. But I mean, those are great ideas just to focus on. I was also thinking, Marky, while you were talking, maybe the restaurants that are dog friendly. That way you can do, like, Greg, you've already done this with restaurants. You've interviewed the mayor on Facebook Live and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But taking more of an, you can always incorporate that angle into it too and focus on dog friendly restaurants and coffee shops and stuff like that, which in San Francisco area, is that there, Greg, is that just everywhere?
No,
is everywhere
no,
just
no, it's actually not. The funny thing is that, like, there's different protocols, and this is only, we're talking about dogs right now, but this is just kind of knowing your neighborhood. So I know on Tuesday that I can't go to one dog park because they lock it down and it's cleaning. Then on Wednesday, I can't go to another dog park called Upper Douglas, where all the dogs want to hang out, which is probably a $50 million piece of property, and dogs poop on it. It's hilarious. But you know what? All the dog owners, we all know each other. So I know all the gay couples, the straight couples. I know all the single people. I know what people are doing. They know what I'm doing. They all know Rupert, because Rupert, he has his own little personality. And he's the only dog that does not get in dog fights, doesn't bark. He just runs for the ball. And so it's built a personality around it. So yes, I mean, doing blogging and kind of talking about that area, and surprisingly enough, yes, they do let him into every restaurant, into every store. Nobody has a problem. They actually all have treats for dogs, which I didn't know. But again, this is just knowing your market. This is being able to go viral on Instagram, Facebook, whatever else, LinkedIn, talk about the local businesses, talk about their pet friendly. Everybody's got COVID puppies. It's actually really scary how many people have COVID puppies.
I never thought it would happen, but my parents are one of them. It's a sad day. All right, let's talk about booking appointments, because I think this is where, so you've got a segment of agents that really never get into this side. They really never take the chance on putting out content. But for those that do, and they're looking at, okay, well, now I've crossed that first bridge. I'm putting out content. I'm talking about the community, sprinkling in some real estate content, but I'm mostly focusing on things that the community is interested in for various reasons. Great. How does that actually translate into business? Because I think the fantasy for most agents is, I put out a bunch of content, people call me and say, come list my home, or hey, I'm ready to buy. And that's the disconnect. Like, that's where most agents lose, and they realize that they're leaving a lot of sales on the table, because if you're sitting back waiting for that to happen, that's 1 out of 100. You're leaving the other 99 behind. So I think the question probably for most agents is, well, how do I take the content that I'm putting out and actually get that to spark these kind of conversations that move into the messaging, and then go from messaging to the appointment? So let's talk about that a little bit. What's your view?
So let me say this. So my son, Skylar, he's now 25, but he came into the industry 24 years of age, actually on January the 4th. I had scheduled him a Facebook Live interview with a young lady by the name of Rosie Burton. She has this grant program. He interviewed her via Facebook Live. So think about that 20% of content. When he interviewed her, he added a call to action, and he already had a landing page. So we're talking about someone who has been, one, he's not an expert, okay? He's been licensed, or better yet, a realtor member for 48 hours. He interviews an expert. He has a landing page with a call to action, and he generated 61 leads. That now means that they're in his customer relationship management system, and he has the ability to nurture, to follow up, and to ask for referral-based business. So to me, whenever we're doing that 20% of business-related content, we must add a call to action, and we want to give them something of value in exchange for their information. But let me tell you what happened last week, because this is like my best story of this quarter, okay? I'm at the grocery store. I got a mask on. I'm looking for MCT oil. I'm in the aisle talking to myself, and I'm like, MCT oil, MCT oil, MCT oil. I hear a voice behind me. The gentleman says, I knew that voice. Now,
No way.
no, real,
Okay.
for real. So I started laughing, because this is validation, right? So I'm getting excited. I'm like, I know this stuff works, right? I turn around. I said, what you say? He says, you are the realtor extraordinaire. I cannot recall your name, but my wife listens to your videos. all the time. No freaking way, right? So here's the thing, though, what we don't think about. I know that I talk a lot, and I know that 78% of my audience on Facebook are females, right? Their husbands don't want to hear Marky Lemons talk all the time, right? But their husbands now know my voice, whether they walk in that room and they watch that video. So this is what I keep telling people. And I want everybody to remember that Zillow is a brokerage. So it's a violation of antitrust for us to talk poorly about them, okay? But with that being said, I know that I don't have Zillow money. I cannot spend the amount of money that Zillow spends on ads. But what Zillow does not have are 2 feet on the ground in the community creating video content every single day. Actually, my competition in Chicago does not even have that, because I would venture to say I am the most visible residential brokerage in the city of Chicago globally because of all of the different content that I put out.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Marky. You had an experience that I had as well. I had 2 experiences. One was a gentleman, well, more than 2, but these are the 2 most visible ones. I had a guy literally chase me down in a bank and said, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I recognize your voice. I mean, you're bigger in life than I thought you were. And I watch everything that you do." And I'm like, who are you, sir? And he's a very nice gentleman. And another guy that I was walking to Starbucks to meet a client, and this guy just eyeballs me hard. Like, he's just staring me down. I'm like, did I date your daughter in high school? I mean, what did I do wrong here? Ended up he's a real estate investor, and he'd been watching all my stuff. And you're right. I mean, the content you put out there and the visibility that you have on social media and everything else is an incredibly powerful thing. Even if you don't see returns immediately on this stuff, this is absolutely something people should be doing, and be talking about the local dog parks, talking about the local restaurants. I mean, Matt would be a connoisseur of all the coffee shops. And when I say coffee shops, I mean Starbucks. In San Diego.
No, I've had to expand. I've had to expand out. I found a couple of local Brazilian coffee shops that were open inside before Starbucks was willing to, because their employees are insane or something. So Starbucks is just now open inside in San Diego. So I've had to find other options. So I'm mixing. I'm broadening my horizons, Greg. You'd be very proud.
I am. My heart is beating extra hard for you right now.
I know.
I'm super
but I think that is the key. Like, whatever it is. I mean, Greg, you gave a simple example just of your obsession with your dog, which we've made fun of, incorporating that into like real estate marketing from time to time. But the bottom line is you're excited about it, and everybody has a COVID puppy, so you should totally do something around COVID puppies. That's what you should do. You should do a whole series about COVID puppies.
And also that I carry a ninja knife that opens beer bottles.
Sure.
When I walk the dog.
I don't know why that's a point of pride, but sure. Okay. So I love the idea, Marky, of going from, Facebook Live to a landing page. That sounds probably, very intimidating to a lot of agents that don't know much about the online marketing world. But I will say, if they get into your membership, obviously you're going to help make those types of things easy. They're not really that hard. Everything is so templated now. There's lead pages. There's all these different programs where it's really, you start with a template, you make some changes, you throw some different words on there, and it's really, really simple. So I don't want people to get too thrown off by that, because the bottom line is it's great to move things from social media into the messaging inbox and then book appointments off that. That's one funnel, so to speak. That's one little customer journey. But you reeled off a completely different one, which is to take them from social media right into your email list. And to me, I love that idea. I think that's extremely powerful if you have the system set up where you're actually going to follow up with them.
There it is. You have to follow up, right?
Yeah.
So a rule of thumb is, if you want to earn a 6-figure income, you need to add 2,880 contacts to your customer relationship management system. And that's only going to net you 20 transactions, earning you $5,000 per transaction. So what I've seen, the biggest problem is that we as agents don't spend enough time per day in lead generation. Okay. Right. We're busy, right? Or we're getting ready to get ready. What we have to do is have that 1 to 2 hours every Monday through Friday for lead generation. For me, I just happen to leverage social media and technology for lead gen.
Right.
That is my preferred method of doing it. And over time, and here's the thing, you can't be a one-hit wonder. And I think a lot of people, we want to be one-hit wonders, right? Oh, we do this thing one time and it's just going to take care of us for the rest of our lives. And a video probably is not going to do that, right? Because someone is going to come behind us and do something even more profound. And so we want to be consistent with that content, going back, answering the person's questions in real time, and then do it all the time. Like I'm always talking about real estate. However, people already know, like, and trust me.
Okay.
They already know, like, and trust me. And here's the thing, accountability. They know that she's going to show up. And when I say that one-hit wonder, we know those people who come over to social media just to get attention. You know, they pop in to, oh, look at my new car. And then they go disappear. Or they get a new boyfriend. Oh, look at Bay, right? And then they disappear, right? And we want that person who is going to be consistent. And we know who that person is.
So let me ask you a quick question here. I did an article with Bernice Ross for Inman, and one of the things we talked about was being consistently inconsistent. So you kind of change stuff up, you know, consistently. Because I mean, I watch a lot of people on social media, and like there's a couple of folks that I know that like all they do is post workout videos, or all they do is, you know, what I've been doing is posting dog videos, right, or whatever else. Is being consistently inconsistent an effective strategy in your opinion? And what I'm saying is staying visible, but yet not being predictable, because a lot of us are predictable.
I would say yes, only because it is going to broaden your sphere of influence, right? And to me, nothing in life is sliced so thin there aren't two sides to it. So it actually shows versatility, and it helps to expand that sphere of influence. And so I do a lot of things that people would never imagine that I would do. Like I let everybody know, right? One thing, I'm consistent. I'm the shortest, darkest, roundest person in the room with the least amount of hair, right? But then I'm hosting an event and I break out as a full-figure model. And they're like, what? We didn't know you could model. Well, because I'm not modeling all the time. Or we didn't know you could do this. Even with the cooking, right? I don't show you my cooking videos every single day, but at least once a month, I remind you that I am a grill master and I know how to cook. And that now engages, especially right now in the summertime, all of my grilling folks, right? That's a whole conversation. And then sometimes I'll post my husband's pound cake and I'll let you know that my man can cook too, but I'm not going to post him every day either. So I 100% agree with Bernice that consistency, because you don't want it. It's not one size fits all. And when people get to know, like, and trust you, oftentimes it is due to the fact that you have something in common.
Yeah. You know, here's the funny thing about that is like, you guys obviously can't see this who are podcasting and listening to this, and it's healing up. But I went gardening the other day without gloves on, like a dumbass. And I busted my hand up hard and it was bleeding everywhere. I literally have the blood of my body in the soil out here. And I posted a photo of it. I had 1,500 views on 2 bloody fingers. And then I post something about real estate. I got like 300. And I'm like, well, shit. Then there's that. And then I had this homeless guy with his ass hanging out one day. And that was the first time I crested 1,000. And it was something I'd never done before. And so I say persistently and consistent. And, you know, it's just, you know, documenting your life and not doing the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, Matt consistently reads a chapter of his book every single day in a very
own book.
Yeah, in a very sewing way. Like he's like a grandfather. Today we're going to be reading chapter number 2. We're going to be discussing this topic. And
Fireside chat style. All right, I could totally start that podcast. That is hilarious. All right, before Greg, you give me too much shit. I do like that. I like the consistently and inconsistent. I get what she's saying with that. I think like if you look at what takes off.
With that.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, then I hate it. But I was thinking about, so if you look at the accounts that take off on Instagram, for example, they are exactly that way, right? They're consistent, number one, but it's pretty easy to tell what the content is to expect. I'll give you a good example. So there's a particular drummer that I follow that I ended up buying his monthly membership. What's interesting though is I have zero time to practice the drums, right? It's been my love, it's my passion, but I don't have time to practice. The reason I bought his drum membership is because of one course he had inside there where he showed you how he films his videos down to the camera settings, the lighting, the exact camera and the lighting that he bought. Well, the only reason I knew about that is because he talked about it on his Instagram feed, which is usually all just drum instructional videos that sells his membership. But he would sprinkle these little things in there and these little previews of this other course that was bundled in. And I'm like, man, just that one shortcut is worth me buying his course. So I pulled the trigger and bought the course. And it was just a really great example that you can do 80 or 90% content on one particular thing that pulls in the majority of your audience. And then you sprinkle these other things in there, and that might actually be the thing that gets somebody to reach out and take action. Either, in real estate's case, book an appointment or even just reach out and go, hey, like I like dogs too. I've got a German Shepherd, or I grew up with the German Shepherd. And next thing you know, you're having a conversation and there's that know, like, and trust factor built. So yeah, it's, I think there has to be a level of consistency of content. People have to know kind of what the promise is that you're making to them on social media so they know what to expect from you. But then, kind of defying the expectations every once in a while with these other things, I think can be really, really effective.
Oh, yeah, 100% agree with that. And so I like to throw in, though, those elements of surprise, right? Where they have no idea. I'll talk about spending the summer in Iceland. And they're like, oh, you lived in Iceland, like the craziest things I'll bring up, and then I'll start having conversation around Iceland. And, I hear it's 24-hour daylight. Yeah, well, only in the summertime, right? Well, what do they eat? And that just takes us down a whole nother lane, or you just build a wider net. Like your net now is casted and it's wider.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about, so there's one way to kind of do things through video and send people to the landing page, get them into your email list. You mentioned that you want to give them something valuable, right? You want to give them a reason. Let's go through some ideas on that. And is it something where you recommend that every agent have kind of one thing that they send people to that they get in response to that landing page, or do they have something different depending on the content they're sharing?
I'm going to say no, it's not necessarily one thing. With Skylar, we just talked about the $40,000 grant program. So in our state, we have if you purchase a home, you can get up to $40,000 in student loan debt elimination. So if they wanted to have all of that information about that grant program, they went to a landing page that was created for free using Google Forms, and it was Where the Money Resides, which was a spin on a Instagram video that went viral. Where the money reside, right? So we did a little spinoff, right, of Where the Money Resides before his trademark kicked in.
Okay.
And so we gave away, essentially, we just repackaged all of the content in a PDF, and it was a download. When I interview a 203K specialist, I'm going to repackage it and make it all about the 203K. So instead of people reaching out to me after the fact, if you want this information and you want it right now, click on the link. So always, whether it could be a checklist, right? And I would say don't go long ebooks only because consumers do not read long ebooks. Think about those nice little one-pagers, a checklist, your equipment list, things of that nature, to give them those quick tips in order to get them into your customer relationship management system. But then you must follow up and you must nurture them. Everyone is not ready to do something today. And I think where we lose people is definitely in the follow-up, because we don't have any systems. And according to every study I've read, we have a very low percentage of follow-up.
Yes. I don't know. Did you hear this stat? Dean Jackson, he is in real estate as well as other adjacent kind of industries, but he does a lot in real estate. So Dean Jackson went through all of his coaching client CRMs and databases and financials and stuff, and basically everything he had access to. And the question was essentially, how long do you have to keep in touch with somebody in order to get them to do something? He said 85% of my client sales came between months 8 and 12 of follow-up. So if you're not like if we're not following, if we don't have some mechanism for drawing people into our world, getting them on to follow us on social media or into our email list, essentially we're missing out on 85% of the potential sales, right?
I would agree. And let me say this. People have heard me comment that I've been gainfully unemployed ever since Friday, March the 13th, 2020, from my primary source of income as a real estate keynote speaker. Right.
Mhm.
I mean, like being a real
Right.
estate keynote speaker has not existed since Friday, March the 13th. And they're just going back to work. Essentially, this month, I'm returning to work in the month of August. So one of my greatest fears was that people would forget about me in the midst of the pandemic. So how do you remain relevant? And I have the director of education. They are in my customer relationship management system. I have been consistent, Matt, as you well know. We've sent them content every other week. I stated that I did not want to spend 100 nights on the road again. I only want to do 50 face-to-face events. I am already booked up once per week for face-to-face events for the duration of the year because I've been consistent in the midst of the pandemic, doing what it was that I was doing prior to the pandemic, so that you cannot act like you don't know what I do for real.
Yes, you are one of the only people I know. And I've got lots of amazing friends and connections and clients and stuff like that. But your mindset, just in terms of how quickly you shifted and kept your mindset at a high level, I was super impressed by the way that you handled it. I mean, you handled it better than I did. I mean, honestly, I'll just be straight up about that. Like the pandemic bummed me out. There was a couple of months there where I was not a happy camper. Yeah, you were almost immediately, you may feel differently behind the scenes, but I think from an outsider's perspective, not being inside of your head and going through the emotional roller coaster ride with you, from my perspective, it looks like you pretty quickly shifted, creating journals, learning about Amazon, direct printing and Kindle publishing and like all this stuff. You just dived into other things really, really quickly. And then you also stayed on top of social media, which I think even I just completely took a step back from social media. And I have still not, and I have no intention to go back to the level of social media that I was before. I completely lost my taste. I deleted Facebook and Instagram completely off my phone. I had, other reasons for being frustrated with it. But Marky, you really kept, you did a fantastic job of staying relevant that. And that absolutely works. And for anyone that wants to, if you have that personality where you enjoy being social, absolutely dive into social media. I mean, Greg, we've talked about my views on it. If you're an introvert, and I think it's a little bit different for that personality type, there might be some other avenues where you'll enjoy more. But in terms of staying relevant and staying in people's feeds every day, I mean, that was so huge because everybody's basically trapped at home, just looking for somebody that had a bright, anything encouraging to say, any better mental attitude and positive mental outlook. That people were starving for that for the last year.
But there's also the downside of that. There's a lot of false prophets out there that speak out of their behind, and they have nothing to say, but they say everything. And so you need to be very wary.
I think you just described 80% of people on Clubhouse.
I'm sorry. What did you just say, Matt? Oh, was that you? What? And that's actually very true.
I was gonna say, I know it is.
But the thing is Marky, I know you don't know this, but I follow you and I listen to your podcast and I talk about you because you have absolute value in this industry. You come with a sledgehammer, but everyone thinks you're just bringing a little tiny little nail hammer, and you drop it, and it's fantastic because even here listening to you, I'm like, damn, this chick is good.
Well, thank you. You made y'all made my whole weekend.
All right, end show, and we're done.
That's right.
And
George Costanza, I'm out.
I'm out. Goodbye. But the thing is about it is about being visible, and it's about being relevant, and it's about being knowledgeable. So if you're new in the business, you don't have to not be on social media. Go out there, listen to Marky, read Inman News, go out there and listen to podcasts, take a nugget, give your opinion about it. There's a guy, and I don't care where you guys stand on the political spectrum, I really don't give a shit.
Bracing myself.
Yeah, brace for impact. But there's a guy named his YouTube is called Timcast, And what he does is he takes an article or articles from different things about political stuff in the day, and then he reads it, and then he highlights the parts that he finds interesting and gives his point of view on it. So if you guys are new in the business, you guys can go out and reference, like, hey guys, I read an article from Marky Lemons from Inman News, and she referenced how to be relevant on social media. This is what she said. This is my point. This is my takeaways. Give me your points. Go from there. So you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You just have to be resourceful. The resources are everywhere, but being resourceful is going to be the thing that's going to bring you up and make you relevant and visible and then relatable to everybody around you, AKA getting dog poo on your hands and finding gloves. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt.
Great. I'm eagerly awaiting the Facebook Live. I got to double check and make sure I have notifications turned on for Greg's Facebook profile.
If you guys can't see this, Marky is dying laughing in the
but I'm
cracking up.
I want to talk about Marky's membership and just the approach of going making sure that you're making six figures in real estate. It is eminently doable. It is not that hard. It's something within the reach of any agent. I don't care who you are or what you think your weaknesses or strengths are. But Marky, tell us a little bit just about the membership and who's the right kind of person that should sit up and go, holy cow, like this is for me.
So 6 figures in 12 months is a real estate, actually more, I would say a realtor membership group. And the reason is I've always earned a 6-figure income in real estate. And I've recruited enough people who earn a 6-figure income in their first 12 months to the world of real estate by using some simple strategies. And those simple strategies would be: 1, you must have a business plan, you must have a marketing plan, and you must have a social media plan. And they all go back to, what does your business plan say? And I will tell you a quick story. When I came into real estate, I knew what I wanted my average price point to be. But I had to get honest with myself. My friends did not earn enough money to buy what it was that I was selling. So I had to be very intentional in expanding my sphere of influence, the people who could afford to buy what it was that I was selling. Well, right now, today, what I think that realtors need, and we have 742 members in the 6 figures in 12 months. I didn't realize how lonely real estate is. And oftentimes, if you aren't the top producer in your office, you can be a little neglected. So I'm more than just a real estate educator. I am a cheerleader. I tell people they're doing a phenomenal job. Hey, why don't you try this? And so inside of the 6 figures in 12 months, we have a monthly master class where I'm teaching them how to implement social media and technology, how to create landing pages for free. We have a monthly group coaching call. We do what is called the hot seat, and someone wins the hot seat and they put me in the seat for 1 hour and they get to ask me anything. And I tell them there are no questions are off limits. So, and we getting personal and intimate. And then with the podcast, Social Selling Made Simple, what we do is actually interview people now directly to the private group so that those members can have the opportunity to ask questions of all of these phenomenal people who have mentored and coached me. So it's jam-packed with information, but more, we're cheerleaders. I am a cheerleader for realtors, and I understand their hurdles, their problems, and I want to share with them all of these great resources that I use, because now I'm telling everyone, I love to use freemium tools in order to create a premium brand. We operate from the no excuse zone, and I want people to stop getting ready to sell real estate.
I love that. Marky, the one thing that I love about that is that, I'm really honored to be on your podcast, coming up next week. And that's a joke, by the way, guys.
I don't remember seeing you on a schedule.
No, the funny thing is that if Matt could grow a real boy's heart instead of a piece of coal, he would care about other people too. And you are a gem, and we're so glad to have you on here. And a lot of people are going to take a lot away from what you're saying, because you are a light in a dark industry at times, because you're 100% right. A lot of agents do not share their knowledge, and you just saying just cheering people on to be a cheerleader and congratulate people to be their best, even though they're in the same office with you. I mean, obviously, you know how different that is. And it's such a good thing to hear. I just commend you to the highest levels on that. I mean, it is so nice.
You know what I was looking for? Hold on, because you said cheerleader. Hold on.
Oh, this is going to be good. All right, guys, everyone's looking around. She's got pom-poms. Woohoo!
I went
Oh my God.
and purchased
we almost
my
got
pom-poms.
out of Matt.
I just need you to say this. So this is me coming back. I'm coming in hot at the Realtor Conference and Expo. I am packing my pom-poms because I am officially, I'm telling you, I gave myself this title. I am the Realtor cheerleader. And this is how I'm coming, baby, to San Diego. I just need y'all to know that.
Oh my gosh.
Matt is dying. You know, Marky is just crushing
It's
it.
just, yes, this is so, it's so your personality, Marky. I love it. All right.
Well, actually, one quick question, Matt. I know we're gonna wrap up here really quickly. Tony has a quick question. When you're talking about business plans, he asked for some how to detail that a little bit more. So could you go slightly deep on that? Because Matt's gonna cut my toenails off if we go too long, and he's gonna fly all the way up here to take off my left big toe, and I don't like that. I like that toe.
So when agents are coming into the marketplace, I tell them to look at the rate of sale, the price point, and the barriers to entry, right? Because you're not you might not connect with the people in that area. With that being said, I believe that every realtor should set SMART goals. They should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So let's say you want to earn a six-figure income. We already know, right, that you need to sell 20 houses and they need to be the price point of $250,000. Well, how am I going to get them? Where am I going to get them from? And what do I need to do in order to obtain them? I often tell realtors they need to join their local chamber of commerce because that is going to put them in front of everybody in the community, including all of the businesses. So we definitely sit down and we come up with SMART goals for every area of our life because it means nothing to have money and you are not happy.
That is true. A lot of that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So, by the way, where do people go for the 6 figures in 12 months? What's the easiest place for them to check it out?
MarkyLemons.com/membership. So MarkyLemons.com/membership. And while you're over on MarkyLemons.com, just hang out, listen to podcast episodes from Social Selling Made Simple, buy Marky's merch. We are in a collaboration with All Things Real Estate, and pick up one of our 23 publications off of Amazon. It's all on that same website, MarkyLemons.com.
Oh my God. Yeah, I was going to say, you've got a lot. You've worked on a lot over the last year. Holy cow, woman. Okay. Greg, what's the best way to reach out and why should someone reach out?
Because I have a big heart and everybody loves me. And they always say that I'm the nice guy on the show. So that's why see, Marky's giving me the heart symbol. I can't do it. I suck at this thing. Taylor Swift does it way better. Matt's favorite singer, by the way. Guys, reach out to me on my cell phone, 925-915-1978. Let's talk about anything you guys want to talk about. You know, talk about EXP, kind of the moving company that we have that we're organizing over there, how we can help you guys really stand out from the crowd. And Marky, I'll tell you about this off air. And then just because if you want a big snuggle and a hug because Matt offended you on the show, I'm here as a support. Okay, I'm here.
That's right. That's right. If you were super enthusiastic about Clubhouse and I let the wind out of your sails, go ahead and talk. By all means, call Greg up and talk to him about it. Commiserate together. Okay. And then for me, it's getmicrofamous.com. You can get a free copy of the digital book there, and you can check out the Microfamous podcast and all that fun stuff, especially if you're a coach consultant on the introverted side. This is basically the system I created for myself that works for me as an introvert to grow my business. So it might work for you too. You can check that out there. Greg, shall we select a color for the bow that we shall wrap around this package of an episode?
That's my line, dipshit.
As he freezes, by the way, right? Which is
Because he didn't listen to what Matt told him to do.
Thank you. Exactly. The timing of that was impeccable. All right. Oh my God. Okay. And I will say this. So Marky, I would say your primary platform is still Facebook, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's my number one go-to.
So I think if anybody like not only should they go to the website and check out the membership, but if they want to see what you're doing and emulate what you're doing, to me, the best place is just to go search you on Facebook, go find it, just watch your videos. I would say just copy what you do,
knock
just
socks off.
basically just copy you.
Yeah,
All right, Greg. So you cut out. In the meantime, I have selected the color.
Oh, good.
It is.
We're Marky. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm going to select the same, and hopefully I don't get the color wrong, Marky, because it's the color of your fingernails. Is it turquoise? Like a very light teal blue?
It's a blue. I would go turquoise.
Turquoise. Okay.
Good color.
Right.
How did you pick up on that? Oh, you paid great attention.
I noticed things.
And this is once in a month, so it's a good thing that it's you that he noticed things. Guys, hey, thank you so much for watching and following the podcast today. If you guys like the show, please give us a comment below. In anywhere you listen to podcasts, make sure that you give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review, so it helps the algorithm get it out to more folks. Please hashtag Marky Lemons. Follow her on all of her Instagram, Facebook, social media statuses, everything, so that you guys can get her knowledge. And I am not kidding around. She's an absolute legend, and you guys will learn more from her than you can ever learn from Matt. And so this is a bonus on every single level. So with that, guys, we love you to pieces. Thank you so much. Until next time, peace out, ninjas. We go.